Mariners up 4-0 going to the top of the third here at Wrigley. Between innings, Buster Olney with Cubs manager Joe Madden.
Joe, tell me what you've seen out of Bryant Matusz so far.
Some good pitches, but two good hitters got him for 2-run homers. High changeup to Cruz, went far. And then a 3-1 fastball, probably could have made a different selection right there, but two good hitters have got him. He's made some good pitches otherwise.
You threatened against Felix Hernandez in the first inning. What adjustments did you see him make?
Well, we chased. We kept throwing the ball the same way. You saw the bat by KB. They hit off those pitches in the dirt, and then the other guys did not. So the difference was, for us to really, we're at 42 pitches, I think, after 20, which is good. We got to lay off that thing in the dirt and keep building his pitch count up, force him up in the zone.
Joe, thanks.
Kyle Seager, first pitch swinging, grounds one up the middle. Addison Russell ranging to his left to make the play. Well, those two pretty good hitters Joe Madden mentioned, Nelson Cruz and Robinson Cano. Cruz his 26th home run of the season, Cano his 23rd.
That is a meaty part of an order. I don't think you can find a 3, 4, 5 in baseball with those kind of numbers and threat and the lefty, righty, lefty, including Seager in that, who also has 20 home runs.
And for the Mariners now on the season, they have 145 home runs. You think of a team like Baltimore, right? Explosive, tons of homers, left, right, and center. Baltimore's got 153 entering play today. Seattle's got 145. And although it's a little bit easier to hit them out at Safeco Field than it used to be, it's certainly not a great hitter's park by any stretch of the imagination. These guys, they rely on the home run, as you can see, but it's a big, big part of their offense.
Well, and they do it with those 3 premium players, premium bats in the middle of the lineup, but then great platoon options, as we've talked about. Gutierrez, 8 homers against lefties. Lee has come over from Korea and provided power, especially against left-handers. And then guys like Seth Smith and Adam Lind that really provide power against righties. So each and every night, not just their core star players in the middle, but the platoon option is great as well.
If they seem tense, you know, because of the trade deadline and everything, they're hiding it pretty well right now. End of a long road trip, heading home, hoping to get home 3 games over 500, and a win tonight would leave them 4 games out of a playoff spot. A loose group. Scott Service talking about how it's a veteran-laden team, and you're looking at 2 of them, and Cruz and Cano. This ball scorched into center field, a base hit for Gutierrez. Well, guys like Felix Hernandez, Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz. It feels like, I don't know if hands-off approach is the right way to say it, but he's handed over a lot of the leadership to the veterans in the clubhouse and kind of trusting them to police it and do what he wants them to do. Talked about in spring training, and you don't hear this much anymore. Scott Service says, I'm a big meetings guy. I love meetings. I love football, and that's where I get it from. And then, much to the delight of Jessica and myself, the La Crosse, Wisconsin native said, I'm a big Packers fan.
Yes.
So, Aaron, get with the program on it. Eagles, I know. Yeah, my dad played that. Here's Lee hitting one a long way. Left center field. It is another home run for the Mariners. Their 3rd 2-run homer in as many innings. Six nothing Seattle.
Boone, you mentioned the power that Lee has, and this is an 80-mile-per-hour pitch, and look at the location. Look at his ability to be able to go down and get a curveball, moving away from his bat down in the zone, but the length and power that he has, not only to get to that pitch, but to pull it as far as he did.
And we've seen with the breaking ball all night, just pitches like that almost look like they're slipping out of his hand, not getting the break, not getting the bite. And while that pitch was down, it just kind of rolled and spun in there. There's no bite to it. Easy for a hitter to track, and a hitter with power rides another one out. That might have been a changeup, actually. Just that downward action. Tough to tell if it was a breaking ball or a changeup, but another pitch that one of these power righties is able to ride out here. I think it was that breaking ball right there. Just doesn't quite have that bite, and routinely in these first few innings we continue to see it just kind of roll out of his hand.
Carl Edwards Jr. up now in the bullpen for the Cubs. 6-0 Seattle here in the third inning on the heels of a big come from behind win yesterday afternoon. Nice running catch there by Rizzo in foul territory. He hauls it in to retire Zunino. Well, we mentioned Scott's service and his football mentality and his love of the Green Bay Packers, and he'll get a chance to watch them next Sunday night, the Pro Football Hall of Fame game, as they take on the Colts from Canton, Ohio. This game kicks off the NFL preseason schedule, caps off Hall of Fame weekend. Our coverage begins at 7 Eastern, also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. And am I allowed to say this?
Yeah.
You're going to be there.
Yeah.
You're going to be there.
Off. I'm headed to Canton. Packers.
I was worried she hadn't told Adam yet, and what if, you know.
You find it out on air? Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Big surprise for my husband. I had to tell him, because he's smart enough to figure it out. He's like, wait, we're going somewhere next weekend. It's the Hall of Fame weekend. Brett Favre's getting inducted, and ESPN's doing the game. There's too many things in common.
Your husband's walking around Chicago this weekend wearing his Packer hat, right?
Oh, yeah.
Good
he loves making Bears fans mad.
Yeah. Will he go outside? Will he go public in a cheesehead? Will he wear the cheesehead?
That's a good idea.
That's only you, Dan.
Oh, why is that weird?
Between that and your toques.
It's almost football season.
Yeah,
how about that? 6-0 Mariners here. 2-run homer by Cruz. 2-run homer by Cano. 2-run homer by Lee. And here's Felix Hernandez, who tapped back to the mound his first time up.
I wonder if they're all Seahawks fans.
There's strike 3 call to end the inning. Another homer. 6-0 Mariners.
New Taco Bell poll finds Americans want bacon with their breakfast versus no bacon. Go figure. Introducing Taco Bell's new $1 morning value menu. The only $1 breakfast value menu that brings home the bacon.
You got a truck for a reason, remember? The Firestone Destination AT. Long link, carbon reinforced to conquer any terrain and any truck stuff. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Can a car be crafted instead of produced? Designed with attention and care to give a feeling that stays with you. At Mazda, every detail matters because driving matters. The all-new 3-row Mazda CX-9.
When people ask me what it's like to win an Olympic medal, I tell them, you already know. The medals you've earned are all around you. Your bronze, your silver, your gold, and Liberty Mutual insures them all.
Liberty Mutual is proud to insure every Team USA medal won in Rio, just like we protect the medals you've earned in life. Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hey!
Hi.
You're that guy from Verizon who switched to Sprint.
I used to ask if you could hear me now, but it's 2016 and Sprint's network reliability is now within 1% of Verizon. And Sprint saves you 50% on most Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile rates. That's why millions have switched.
Make that millions plus one.
Can you hear that?
Don't let a 1% difference cost you twice as much. Switch to Sprint today.
Joe Flacco. Choco Taco. Wow. Unbelievable. It's a chocolate taco. You ever had one?
You're watching Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by Taco Bell. Beautiful night in Chicago, but not so much fun if you're a Cubs fan so far. All Mariners in the early going, 3 homers and a 6-0 lead going to the bottom of the 3rd. And Brian Matusz is out of the game. Batting in his spot is another pitcher. Jason Hamill is going to bat here to lead off the 3rd. And we'll chop one to 3rd. In on the grass is Seager. So Joe Maddon going to leave his bench players for what he hopes, or maybe situations with more potential later on with men on base. Matusz making his first major league start since 2012. And making his first appearance of any kind as a member of the Cubs after spending a couple of weeks down to their AAA affiliate in Iowa. Needless to say, did not go well. If indeed this was a showcase start for other teams, for people to see what Matusz might have in advance of the trade deadline, it did not go well. Back to the top of the order for Dexter Fowler.
This was the part of the lineup Joe Maddon mentioned a buster last inning that really did a good job of trying to force Felix Hernandez to get his pitches up in the zone. And that pitch right there, Dexter just spits on it, and if Felix can hit that location, Dexter's fine with that because he wants something more up in the zone. And that's why him and Bryant both got back-to-back walks.
Flips a curveball in there, and it's 1-2. And back-to-back walks issued to Fowler and Bryant to begin Hernandez's night, and then he roared back, striking out Rizzo, Zobrist, and Russell in succession to strand the runners. Got the Cubs in order in the 2nd. And just misses down and in, now 2-2 on Fowler.
And Dan, I mean, Felix gets a lot of credit, obviously, but I feel like the credit actually in that turn in the 1st inning was Anthony Rizzo. He chased a couple pitches out of the zone to get Felix back into that count.
Ground ball left side, rolls up the arm of Seager. Fowler safe at first. And the Mariners, who have been, Seager is charged with the error. That is the 14th error committed by Seager on the season.
I always felt like this is one of the more difficult plays as a third baseman, when a left-handed hitter doesn't hit a ball real hard but slices it, because it's spinning a little bit away from you, and Seager, playing him well over to pull on the shift, has to work around that. You don't really track it properly. It almost works like a changeup because it's not hit hard, but it's also spinning. So you've really got to make sure you stick it in your glove. One of the more difficult plays, even though it looked real easy. Usually if a ball's hit hard, it'll just kind of stick in the glove. Here you've got to make sure you squeeze it. As you can see, as he tries to work around it, he just clanks it. E5.
So a base runner for the Cubs, and here's Kris Bryant. Yes, he did. It's 0-1. Tied up in on the hands with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
And that's one of the only problems of looking up in the zone is you can tell Bryant right there. Uncharacteristic for him to swing up and in off the plate. But that's what he was sitting.
Hernandez is the guy in his career with Seattle who has never really gotten great run support. He's had so many games where he's had a no decision or a loss in a very low scoring game. Could easily have more wins than he has in his career. He's always been great when you look at ERA and hits per inning and base runners per inning and so forth. All of those numbers have been outstanding. Again, not pitching with the same kind of stuff that he did many years ago.
Well, didn't he, the year he won the Cy Young, I think he won, what,
I think he was 13 and 12.
13 and 12.
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes to show you the era that he's pitched in, where the Seattle Mariners, more often than not, have not been a very strong club. So you can see 67 starts in his career with 1 run or less. Obviously not the case tonight, and much less often now with this more of a juggernaut of an offense.
Turned 30 in the first week of April. On his 30th birthday, he had thrown more innings by that milestone than any pitcher since Fernando Valenzuela. That's going back a ways. More starts by age 30 than anybody since Bert Blyleven. That's going back even further. This guy has been a workhorse. Again, got to the major leagues at the age of 19. And until this year, 30+ starts every single season, except for his rookie year when he came up in the middle of the year. The calf injury has cost him some time this year. But there you can see, by today's standards, nobody's done more. Nobody's been more durable over a longer period of time than Felix Hernandez.
And he's been doing all this with a compromised tendon, I believe, in his elbow, much like Masahiro Tanaka. So durable, but able to pitch through some minor things as well.
And he strikes out Bryant, 5th of the night.
Well, I mentioned Anthony Rizzo, really the changing moment back in the first inning after 2 consecutive walks. You're going to see the at-bat. Felix Hernandez gets him 2-0. It looks like it might be another walk, but Rizzo helps him out. He gets a pitch off the plate, swings at it, then chases a changeup down in the zone. Now Felix Hernandez, he locks in, goes back to the fastball away, gets the strikeout, and from then he got 3 consecutive strikeouts. But this was the at-bat. It looked like the Cubs were going to get rolling.
I love that pitch selection. The 3-2 pitch. If you're Rizzo, you had to be thinking changeup. I certainly was as a hitter. You know that's his bread and butter. And to go fastball running away and then execute it perfectly down the way. You saw a weak swing from Rizzo on that 3-2 pitch, but great instincts by Zunino and Hernandez to go away in that spot.
2 down in the inning. Fowler at first. Seattle up 6-0. Seager now backing up and over to his left, more towards in the direction of where the shortstop would normally play. As Rizzo takes upstairs.
You know, one thing, even if Hernandez is able to get out of this inning as well, one thing that Air does at third base with that long first inning, that pitch count running up, Hernandez had a chance to really, a couple easy innings to get that pitch count at a manageable rate. Now he's looking at maybe 60 pitches if he gets through Rizzo here through 3 innings, which is going to make it very difficult for Felix to get beyond 5 or 6, even if he continues to pitch well.
One-two. Rizzo lines one to left, and there to make the catch, Gutierrez to end the inning. End of 3 with the Mariners leading 6-0. Their manager Scott Service with a Buster Olney when we come back.
Shop smart with a Sam's Club membership. Get incredible savings at Sam's Club lowest prices of the season event August 6th. Members mark 450 thread count sheets, queen set just $24.98. A Samsung 65-inch curved smart TV and soundbar bundle just $13.98. Or get a Samsung Galaxy S7 smartphone and receive a $200 gift card with 0 down activation. Join and save during this one-day only event. Sam's Club. Life is better in the club.
And when you bundle your home and auto insurance through Progressive, you'll save a bundle.
Jamie.
Right.
Make a bad bundle joke. A buck goes in the jar.
I guess that's just how the cookie bundles. Now you're gonna have 2 bundles of joy.
I'm not pregnant.
I'm gonna go.
There you go.
Bundle bee coming. It was worth it.
Saving you a bundle when you bundle. Now that's Progressive.
Take on any road with intuitive all-wheel drive. The Nissan Rogue, Murano, and Pathfinder. Now get 0% APR for 72 months plus $500 bonus cash.
When Josh Atkins books at LaQuinta.com, he gets a ready-for-you alert the second his room is ready. So you know what he gives?
I'll give you everything I've got and then some.
He gives 110%.
I'm confident this 10% can boost your market share. Feel me, Lois?
I'm feeling it.
Ready-for-you alert only at LQ.com.
Let's take a look at the in-game box score for the Seattle Mariners, brought to you by Taco Bell, and an explosive night for them in the early going. Home runs by Robinson, Cano, Nelson, Cruz, DeHoly, all 2-run shots, and the Mariners lead 6-0 Going to the top of the fourth. Between innings, their manager Scott Service visited with Buster.
Scott, what happens to Felix Hernandez through your eyes when he pitches a spotlight game like this?
Oh, he certainly dials it up. Maybe a little bit too amped up there in the first inning, but he got in a good rhythm, got through the first, and hopefully can keep him going here. He looks good tonight.
How would you compare the power of your lineup to other teams in baseball?
You know, we've hit a lot of homers this year, something we really didn't expect coming into the year. We've got a lot. Guys like Dejo, Lee have stepped up. You know, Robbie hasn't hit one in a while. We said in the dugout he's due, so it's great. Obviously, Nelson got us going tonight, so we play good when we hit homers, no doubt.
Scott, thanks.
No problem.
Meanwhile, Joe Maddon now goes to the bullpen after the home runs by Cano and Cruz and Lee, and Carl Edwards Jr. comes in here to work the fourth inning.
Become a nice piece for this bullpen. That fastball you've seen now, all three at 95 miles an hour, routinely where he's sat. But look at that whip, and now his 15th game. Nice strikeout to walk ratio. He'll also mix in a curveball as his one secondary pitch.
Three and one, the count on Sean O'Malley, the Seattle shortstop. And the strike, it's full. So Matusz goes 3 innings, gives up 6 runs, all earned on 6 hits, allows 3 homers, walked 2, hit 1, struck out a pair. Again, part of the reason that Matusz started was to give all the regular starters an extra day, and guys like Arrieta, Lackey, Lester, they all had a couple of off starts before the All-Star break in that 21-game stretch where the Cubs went 6-15. Swing and a miss, and O'Malley is gone. But other than tonight's start, starting pitching's been pretty good for the Cubs coming out of the All-Star break.
Well, you could tell leading into the break, not that this was any kind of excuse, you could tell they were tired. And Joe Maddon talked about the 24 games that they had in 24 days and getting just a few days rest. And I think that's a big reason why you also see Matusz getting the start tonight, as he saw the results. As you see the numbers since the All-Star break, they're back to where they were in April, leading the National League, leading baseball in ERA. Their bullpen, their overall.
Well, and Joe also felt like this is absolutely going to show up for this team come September and down the stretch. This, you know, if he can get an extra days of rest, certainly this time through, but maybe one other time here in the second half, he feels like it'll show up in the results with his starting pitcher down the stretch, and hopefully continue on into and through October.
And a swing and a miss. Martinez gone, 2 down. Well, they've got off days Thursday and next Monday, so they can build in a little rest there. They got the Miami Marlins coming in tomorrow night. Interesting series. The Marlins are obviously battling for a playoff spot right now in the National League. Ichiro did not get a hit today, so he's still at 2,998 as he arrives in Chicago tomorrow.
And all 3 games against the Cubs will be against right-handed pitching, so you would figure that Ichiro will start at least 1, possibly 2 of those games of the series, giving him a nice chance to perhaps break it here at Wrigley Field, or excuse me, get to 3,000 here at Wrigley.
Marlins beat the Cardinals today 5-4. 4-game split between the Marlins and Cardinals. St. Louis, even when the Cubs went through that swoon, they were unable to really make up some ground. With the loss today, St. Louis is still 7 games back of the Cubs, and there you can see the wild card standings with the Marlins in possession of the second wild card spot. Cardinals a game back. Mets won today, cooling off a hot Colorado team. One of these years it's going to happen, but I would love like a 4-way tie for the second wild card spot. You know, the World Series ends at Thanksgiving or something. I mean, it'd be fun.
Yeah, we'd have about 4 or 5 different plane flight options going the final day.
Yeah.
Yeah, sign me up for that.
2-2 on Cano.
It'll be interesting as you look at the wild card, especially for the NL. What happens in the last 24 hours when you look at the Dodgers? We've seen Miami and the moves that they've made. I don't know if the Cardinals are done yet. The Dodgers, especially with Bud Norris going down today. I mean, I'd be shocked if they don't get a pitcher.
Carl Edwards Jr. just came into the ball game, struck out the side.
How do robots work? You need a team, working together, doing all kinds of jobs. And the best place to find the job that's right for you is on the world's #1 job site. Indeed, how the world works.
Who are these people? Doesn't matter. Oh, this does, though.
I spoke privately with the doctor. The shoulder is going to be fine.
I spoke privately with his doctor.
When people ask me what it's like to win an Olympic medal, I tell them, you already know. The medals you've earned are all around you. Your bronze, your silver, your gold, and Liberty Mutual insures them all.
Liberty Mutual is proud to insure every Team USA medal won in Rio, just like we protect the medals you've earned in life. Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
You can mass produce a car, but you can't mass repair it. Get a $70 Bridgestone Visa prepaid card by mail with the purchase of 4 eligible tires. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Joe Flacco. Choco taco. Wow. Unbelievable. It's a chocolate taco. You ever had one?
Back at Wrigley, bottom of the 4th inning. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. With Jessica Mendoza, Aaron Boone, Buster Olney. I'm Dane Shulman. Felix Hernandez and the Mariners leading the Cubs 6-0. That is a foul ball, says home plate umpire Dan Iasonia. The batter is Ben Zobrist. Caught looking his first time up. And as you can see, that now makes him 5 for 38 in his career against Hernandez. Hernandez has walked 2. One man has reached on an error. No hits yet for the Cubs. Hernandez has struck out 5. But a high pitch count through 3. There's the first hit as that changeup is lined back up the middle into center. A base hit for Zobrist. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by Corona, who invites you to find your beach, and Ford. We go further so you can. Beautiful night, a really pretty sky here in Chicago. Cool night, no humidity. As the Cubs and the Mariners wrap up the 3-game series. All Cubs Friday night blasted Seattle 12-1. Seattle rallying late, 3 in the 8th. One more in the 9th on their way to a 4-1 win. Here's Russell, struck out back in the 1st.
This is the time, 6-run lead, pitch count a little bit of an issue. This is where he'd love to get a ground ball. So as a hitter, you kind of think, does he want to attack me sinker or that little slider curveball down in the strike zone to get that weak contact or the ball on the ground? That discipline really becomes as a hitter. Make him get the ball up, make him continue to work, but don't go chase his bread and butter at the bottom of the strike zone.
Chase to pitch down and out of the zone.
There's a look at that nasty changeup. Watch the bottom just completely fall out. Addison Russell thinks fastball all the way. Bottom falls out. Good job by Zunino of keeping that ball in front and keeping that double play in order. Great look at the grip and the depth.
Line to center. And tracking back to make the play is Martin. Zobrist will retreat to first. Now Jason Heyward grounded out his first time up. First year with the Cubs. And it's been a struggle, to say the least, offensively for Jason Heyward. A big-time free agent acquisition in the offseason, and out doing a little bit of extra work before BP today.
I know the biggest thing they've been working, you'll see, is his pinky kind of overlap with that bottom hand. But the biggest goal they were saying is that he's just been topping over a lot of balls, trying to get him to get underneath, and that's what we saw in BP today. Lifting some balls, getting his barrel in the zone and underneath the ball a little bit instead of on top.
I think really what it comes down to for Jason Heyward, and where he struggled at times in his career this year mightily, as you look at, typically he's been over 350 with that on-base percentage, nowhere close this year, and the very low slugging percentage is he's just too often late to get into hitting position. And as a result, he's seen more fastballs than any player in the league, and he's just late in getting to it, so it turns into a lot of ground balls because he doesn't get into that hitting position in time.
And a big part of what the Cubs feel like he's late is he's got big hands, and when he grips the bat, he'll kind of choke the bat too much, turn his hand, that top hand, kind of overturn it. So what they've done this last week is what I mentioned earlier, is kind of get that pinky to overlap that bottom hand to get his hands in a better position, as you said, Boone.
But see that's a fastball right there, and I would argue that he's late getting into position. His foot doesn't get down in time. Watch this take. That foot should be down a little bit earlier than that. It's kind of a last second no, and when you're late on the fastball, typically you're ahead of the off speed, and you get a lot of quick bat in and out of the hitting zone and a lot of lazy ground balls because you're late, and all you can do is smother it. And too many little rollovers like that this season for Jason.
Cano was thinking about going for the lead runner, but the juggle prevented him from doing that.
Yeah, and look, there was no chance they were going to be able to turn two in this spot because Jason Heyward gets down the line too well. A 6-run lead, no reason to mess with it. Just calmly make sure you get that second out at first base and give Felix a chance to get out of this inning again with a reasonable pitch count.
Wilson Contreras is the batter.
Just make sure the kids at home don't try my back's to first base and I'm still going to throw the ball to get the runner out at first.
And a strike 1-1. Joe Nathan is up in the bullpen. With 377 career saves signed by the Cubs earlier this year, has gotten healthy, was working his way back on rehab down in the minors, has made a couple of appearances for the Cubs. A very experienced arm to work in the middle innings, if you will, of the game for the Cubs. Edwards may come back. You can imagine if this gets two more batters to the pitcher spot, they've really got something brewing. Say bases loaded, then maybe you'll see a pinch hitter, and that would signal the end of the night for Edwards. That's why Nathan's up, you would think. Swing and a miss. Contreras strikes out, and a man left on by the Cubs here in the fourth.
Steak used to cost an arm and a leg. But now you can get new tender braised steak and melted cheese wrapped in a warm flatbread for just $1.49. Taco Bell steak flatbread sandwich. Eat it for them.
Ashley went to Lowe's to create her dream bathroom. Their curated bath collections helped her bring the perfect look together. Oh, one sec, my cell phone's ringing. Hey girl, hey.
Now get your choice of vanities for only $119 at Lowe's.
Sir, there are some guys here to see you.
What kind of guys?
I have to go first. I'm American.
How did two young men land a $300 million Pentagon contract?
You should work for me. I'll make you rich. 100 million rounds of AK ammo? Is that legal? It's not illegal.
God bless America!
War Dogs. Rated R.
You both have a perfect driving record.
Until one of you clips a food truck.
Then your rates go through the roof. Perfect.
For drivers with accident forgiveness, Liberty Mutual won't raise your rates due to your first accident. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
It's
The fact that my mattress adapts to my body is such an amazing thing.
After I do my workouts, it helps me recover, and that's like the game changer. That's everything I need.
Change your sleep. Change your life. Change to Tempur-Pedic.
When Josh Atkins books at LaQuinta.com, he gets a ready-for-you alert the second his room is ready. So you know what he gives?
I'll give you everything I've got and then some.
He gives 110%.
I'm confident this 10% can boost your market share. Feel me, Lois?
I'm feeling it.
Ready-for-you alert only at LQ.com.
We have some breaking news to get into.
Cespedes to the Mets.
Yoenis Cespedes does it again.
Huge deal. Tulo to Toronto.
Troy Tulowitzki. Big hit after big hit. The Kansas City Royals have acquired Johnny Cueto.
How about Cueto? Royals up 2-0. The Royals, 2015 World Champions.
Trades in July, payoff in October. The MLB 2016 trade deadline. Coverage all week long on MLB Network.
On the MLB calendar, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern time, the Yankees and the Mets, and then the same two, but this time at Yankee Stadium on Wednesday night baseball at 7 Eastern as the Yankees and Mets play that home and home, 2 games in your park, 2 games in my park kind of situation that you see every now and again. The White Sox and the Cubs did it this week, with the White Sox winning the first 2 at the Cell, and then the Cubs winning the 2 here at Wrigley. 6-0 Seattle. Second inning of work now for Carl Edwards Jr. He'll face Nelson Cruz, Kyle Seager, and Franklin Gutierrez. Cruz homered off Cubs starter Brian Matusz in the first inning, one of 3 homers the Mariners have hit in this game, all 2-run shots. Nelson Cruz has hit more home runs the last 3 years than any player in baseball. Hit 42 years ago with the Orioles, 44 last year with the Mariners, and 26 so far this season.
And he's going against the odds. He's 36 years old. He's had his best years in the part of his career that you would see normally a decline. And I think a big part of that was he had so many years in the minors. Didn't really come up till 2008, break through. A little bit of a late starter, but he just gets better and better. It was cool talking to Scott Service before the game. He was in the Texas Rangers organization back when Nelson Cruz was in the minors. He was the one that first made those adjustments.
And Edwards gets Cruz for the first out of the inning. Kyle Seager coming up. We got some breaking news about Kyle Seager. Let's go down to Buster.
Yeah, guys, last week when we had the Cardinals and the Dodgers, I bumped into some of the family members of Corey Seager, and they told me that, you know, you're related to the Seager brothers. So today I walked up to Kyle and I said, have you ever heard about this, that you and I are related? And he goes, yeah, I started hearing about that back when I was a teenager. On his father's side, he thinks that we have a great grandfather, grandmother that we both stem from. So yeah, we're family.
So
Seagers.
the athletic genes swerved off to their side, though, right? At some point, is that what you're saying?
See, I also anticipated that you would say something like that, and I said that to Kyle, and he said, yeah, that's probably the same split between Kyle and Corey, myself and Corey. He said something happened there as well.
Although I heard Kyle could write a mean term paper back in the day.
Yeah. Oh, he can blog.
And we haven't seen Buster swing. I mean, we don't know.
Yep.
Maybe the pen was just better than the bat.
Buster does brag about his wiffle ball prowess.
I think that's
and
pitching,
it is that time of year.
The family's got 38 combined home runs this year.
Yeah, I love that.
He was supposed to invite us out to the house to show off those wiffle ball skills at some point this summer. We're still waiting. Invitation.
So Buster, guys, I asked Kyle. I said, Kyle, I've known you for a while. Why didn't you mention that? And he goes, I didn't want to bother you with it.
You had no such issues with bothering him about it.
Heck no. It's on my business card.
Seager grounds out 2 down. In all seriousness, Kyle's got 20 homers. Corey hit his 18th today. They're on the verge of becoming the 7th brother combination to hit 20 or more home runs in the same season. Only one pair of brothers has ever done it twice.
I wonder who.
And those would be the Boones.
Oh.
Well, look at that fake surprise face. You have that on the Snoop cam. Can you run that back?
Hey, I was really excited to read that in the notes.
I'm sure you were. You and Brett twice each hit 20 or more home runs in a season. You're the only brother combo ever to do that.
I have a feeling the Seagers are going to blow through that.
Yeah, I think you got about a year, maybe 2 to milk that.
Yeah. I mean, Seager's Olney. Let's get that together.
Yes.
Okay?
That's
It's hyphenated.
The Seager Olneys.
Where's Thanksgiving going to be, Buster? You guys going to Kyle's or Corey's?
I'm not allowed to reveal that. It's a family secret.
And will be kept a family secret from you. That'd be great, though. Well, what do you say? Congratulate. I don't know what to say to Buster. He's been so happy about this all day. Yeah. Even peppier than usual at the morning meeting today. 2-1 the count on Gutierrez. Speaking of your brother, and speaking of the Mariners, we were talking about the 2001 Mariners. The last time they made the playoffs, won 116 games. Think about that for a second. 116 games. Cubs are having a great year. They're on pace right now for about 98, 99. Seattle, and this is no Griffey, no A-Rod, no Randy Johnson. They had all moved on, but led by Brett Boone, Edgar Martinez, who's now their hitting coach, John Olerud, Mike Cameron,
Ichiro,
of course, and MVP. Forgive me, in his first year, won Rookie of the Year and MVP. Jamie Moyer, 120. Outstanding team, won 116 games that year. Last time Seattle went to the playoffs.
A great part of using the USA car buying service was seeing the different discounts. It had like a manufacturer discount, it had a USA member discount. All of them were already built into the low price. I know that I got a better deal than I would have on my own.
USA car buying service, powered by TrueCar.
You're here to buy a car. What would help is simply being able to recognize a fair price. TrueCar has pricing data on every make and model. So all you have to do is search for the car you want. There it is. Now you're an expert in less than a minute. This is TrueCar.
Esurance does auto insurance a smarter way, which saves money. They offer a claim-free discount because safe drivers cost less to insure, which saves money. They let you pay your bill electronically, which saves postage, which saves money. They settle claims quickly, which saves time, which saves money. And they offer home and auto insurance, so you can bundle your policies, which saves money. Esurance was born online and built to save. And when they save, you save. That's auto and home insurance for the modern world. Esurance, an Allstate company. Click or call.
Car got rear-ended and you needed a tow. Did your 22-page insurance policy say, great news, you're covered? No, it said blah, 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 blah.
The Liberty Mutual app with Coverage Compass makes it easy to know what you're covered for and what you're not. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
We're testing Hanes underwear with X-Temp technology.
Yep. Just gonna play it. Wedge?
Yep.
It speeds evaporation to help keep you cool and dry. Hanes X-Temp technology. When you're cool, you're comfortable.
Can a car be crafted instead of produced? Designed with attention and care to give a feeling that stays with you. At Mazda, every detail matters because driving matters. The all-new 3-row Mazda CX-9.
Oh, man, he got him at 99. Never a dull moment, to say the least.
Wednesday night baseball. Mets, Yankees. Wednesday at 7 on ESPN.
Felix Hernandez from Venezuela signed as a 16-year-old by the Seattle Mariners back in 2002. Received a signing bonus of $710,000. Pretty good value. A little bit more money today, but still great value for the Mariners. Twice Hernandez, by the way, has signed extensions to stay in Seattle. He could have played it out, become a free agent, and moved on, but he has continued to play for the Mariners. Obviously, he's well compensated now. Once he got through the first few years in the majors, and he's been one of the best. However you want to slice the numbers, he comes out as one of the best since he showed up in the majors back in 2005.
Chatting with him yesterday, I asked him, what do you remember most about being 19 coming up in the majors? And he smiled so big and said 98, referring to his miles per hour. And just think about his own evolution. You see it a lot when you see that velocity dip down and guys figure out how to pitch. But he's like, all I had to do was just throw. I was a flamethrower, just blew it by guys, didn't have to think. And now how much he's evolved. And even tonight, watching him with his changeup, his curveball, commanding a lot of his pitches until this walk.
Well, let's take a look at some of his strikeouts on the night. When he got in trouble in that first inning, he locates a perfect sinking fastball down the way. Then a perfectly located fastball to Zobrist. And then that changeup. The bottom falls out. A friendly call away. Oh, you want to go to a different quadrant? Let me attack you up. But then always coming back to that changeup where the bottom just falls out. One of the great weapons in the sport. And what got off to a rocky start for Hernandez has turned into a really strong night for him. Just the question now, how deep can he get into this game?
Miguel Montero will bat in the pitcher spot for Edwards. Edwards, 2 innings, faced 6 batters, struck out 5 of them. Can the Cubs do anything against Hernandez to get it back into this game?
Edwards was outstanding.
Yeah,
that's the top of the order. The one guy that did put it in play was just a weak rollover by Seager to first base. So Edwards certainly did his job tonight. And there is the longtime outstanding closer back in the big leagues, and Joe Nathan getting ready to enter this game.
The Cubs carry 3 catchers, so they can afford to have one of them used as a pinch hitter in this kind of a situation, or any situation really. Wilson Contreras, Miguel Montero, and David Ross, who is the personal catcher for John Lester. Grandpa, as he's known in the clubhouse. Playing in his last year. Ground ball down to first. And a wide throw by Lee, so they can only get one, as O'Malley does a nice job to get his toe back to the bag.
Well, Lee, who's done a pretty good job at first base for the Mariners this year. Sometimes when you jump around like that, you don't get in perfect line, and that lends itself to throwing the ball off line. But a good job of by O'Malley of knowing he had a little time. Watch this, how he gets just a little too rotational, and that front foot is more facing towards the pitcher's mound. Much more difficult to be accurate with your throw. And perhaps a double play opportunity with a slow running Montero unable to turn it.
Here's Dexter Fowler. He has walked and reached on an error. How different would things be for the Cubs if Fowler had not come back to Chicago? Remember, he was right on the verge. It sounded like signing a 3-year deal with Baltimore. And then at the last minute changed his mind and signed a 1-year deal with the Cubs. So he's obviously their leadoff hitter when he's in there. Missed some time with an injury, but he's their leadoff hitter. Had he not come back, sounds like maybe Heyward would have played in center field. Soler, who's on the DL now, but he would have gotten a lot more playing time in a corner spot. Who knows? Chris Bryant might have been out on the outfield more than he already has been.
Fowler gets a ton of credit for kick-starting the offense that we saw for the Cubs early on. I mean, he was a huge part of that. You could not get him out. And yes, there's a whole lineup of guys who were challenging and did a lot of things right. But I think a big part of that was Dexter Fowler early.
And one of the things that doesn't get talked about enough for the Cubs is how great their defense has been this year. And by Fowler coming back, having a real center fielder there, now Heyward can go play his normal great right field. So you just add depth to the overall defense.
Base hit into right field. Up to second goes Montero. Bid now to get your very own 2016 MLB Home Run Derby David Ortiz autographed jersey. Net proceeds are donated to the Baseball Assistance Team, whose primary goal is to help members of the baseball family in need. Don't miss your chance to win this jersey. Go to MLB.com/bat today. The Cubs are on a streak they don't want to be on right now. Going back to yesterday, the last 7 times they've come to the plate with a runner in scoring position, they have struck out. As Bryant hits it hard with foul.
And now you're in a position with your big boppers coming up, and Felix in trouble again with his pitch count rising now at 84. So, you know, at best it's probably another maybe the 6th inning. But if you can get one big hit here, you change what's been kind of a ho-hum, looking like Seattle cruising to victory. This explosive Cub offense with their power can climb back into it. and maybe get Hernandez out in the middle innings and a chance to jump on some of the underbelly of the Mariners bullpen.
Scott Service, the manager, looking on. 85 pitches for Hernandez with 1 out here in the 5th inning. Having a deal with the heart of the order right now. Bryant is up. Rizzo's on deck. Both of them legitimate MVP candidates in the National League.
Great adjustment there by Hernandez. He went back to the changeup, but one thing Bryant's done all night is he's done a really nice job of laying off the pitches down and out of the strike zone and that changeup. So what does Hernandez do on a 2-1 count? Instead of just giving in with the fastball, and instead of throwing his changeup where he normally throws it at the bottom and breaks it down and out, he starts it a little bit higher and breaks it to the bottom of the strike zone.
No!
And that's a great take by Bryant. You saw him want to sell out. He wanted to go for this pitch, but watch him hold up just enough. And he did it 2 pitches ago, as you referenced, Boone, on a changeup. Here it gets a curveball.
That's why I think if he goes fastball at the bottom of the strike zone, I think Bryant's discipline might tell him to lay off it because he may see it as that's the chase zone. But if he can keep it on the same plane and ride the bottom of the zone, maybe he gets a take.
Took it low, and the bases are loaded. Fourth walk surrendered tonight by Hernandez. And Anthony Rizzo is coming up. Time now for Bringing It Home, brought to you by Quicken Loans. And Anthony Rizzo's been bringing runners home about as well as anybody. 79 RBIs already on the season, and leads the majors with 14 game-winning RBIs so far this year. A strikeout and a flyout tonight. He can change the tenor of this game with one swing of the bat. Standing, trying to get the best look they can right now here with Wrigley as Rizzo bats, and he takes ball 1.
You know that Felix is going to try to come back inside. That's where they did earlier to set up the strikeout in Rizzo's first at bat. Rizzo, where he's at on the plate, does not give a lot of room for that location on the plate.
Change-up, swing and a miss, 1-2.
3 change-ups in a row now to Rizzo. And I think, to your point, Jess, he's planted that seed that he's willing to come in. So Rizzo's at least aware of that, but he knows when he throws that real good change-up where the bottom falls off, that's not a pitch that he can do much. So again, it becomes to just trying to get him to elevate.
And a fastball on the inner half freezes him for strike 3.
And that was the pitch. He set it up so perfectly with those 3 change-ups away. And even though Rizzo was aware of the fact that he could come back inside, he painted that inside pitch. And it was all about him locating early on in this at-bat to be able to find that change-up, locate it off of where Rizzo was looking fastball away. Gets that changeup, but watch the location. Be able to come in right, which is black, to where Rizzo is on that plate. If he gets it any more inside, he could hit him. Such a nice sequence from Felix Hernandez.
So many pitchers don't even try to throw the ball inside to Rizzo there because he's so close to the plate. Great execution by Hernandez for his 7th strikeout of the night. Trying to strand the bases loaded here in the 5th inning. The batter is Ben Zobrist, 1 for 2.
And here's the problem right now. The only problem for Zobrist, who he got a hit off, but he's struggled in his career against Felix Hernandez, is it's hard to completely sell out fastball here 2-0 because you know he's just as comfortable flipping a breaking ball in there or throwing that changeup for a strike.
Threw the change, but he missed. And now he's backed himself into a corner here at 3-0. He walked in a run. Cubs on the board now, trailing 6-1. "97 pitches through 4 2/3, and they're starting to get loose in the bullpen."
Put that number into context, guys. Most starts this year, he's gone like 99 to 106 pitches. He's gone over 110 pitches only one time.
His 3rd start since coming off the DL. Missed 7 weeks with a calf injury. Has not been very hittable tonight, but he certainly lacked typical Felix Hernandez command. As you can see, 5 walks in 4 2/3.
It's been weird, though. You say he lacks the command, and it's certainly the case. 5 walks now, and that has been the case. But for a lot of batters, it's been pinpoint, and he's done exactly what he's wanted, especially in some big spots. And that's why he still has a chance, while he's not going to get deep in this game, to have a very effective outing.
Walked 2 to start the game, then had pinpoint command until the end of the 4th inning, and then it just abandoned him again here in the 5th. Addison Russell could make this one a lot closer. Bases loaded, 2 down, and a run in.
Well, this is one of those areas where Addison Russell has thrived this season. Again, hitting 5th tonight, hitting just 240 on the year, but over 60 RBIs on the season. Here's a look at that grand slam from this past week, showing that real good power and a little fist pump from the young star shortstop. Want to try and cut in that lead now.
It hit him, and another run will come home.
Well, if nothing else now for the Cubs, you've almost assured yourself that King Felix is going to be out of this game through 5 innings. And a game that's looked like it was over early, 6-0. You've started to chip away at that lead. Maybe you're 1 hit away from getting right back in this game. But now you're going to at least face the middle relief of Seattle with a chance to climb in this game, even if you don't deliver a big hit here.
We are told that is the first time in Hernandez's career that he has hit a batter to force in a run. He's hit 2 tonight. He's walked 5. And all of a sudden, Heyward's the tying run. 6-2, bases loaded. Nobody throwing in the Mariners' pen. Foul ball. They're on high alert, but nobody's up yet. Pitchers throw Heyward more fastballs than any other hitter in the game. Struggling this year with a .229 average, and Hernandez strikes him out. Heyward slams down the bat of the helmet in frustration as the inning is over. Maybe the end of the line for the Kings. 6-2 Seattle at the end of 5.
It's time to take your Crunchwrap love to the next level. Literally, with a whole new level of seasoned beef, nacho cheese sauce, and crunchy tostada. Taco Bell's new limited edition Triple Double Crunch Wrap. You'll triple double love it.
Take on any road with intuitive all-wheel drive. The Nissan Rogue, Murano, and Pathfinder. Now get 0% APR for 72 months plus $500 bonus cash.
When Josh Atkins books at LaQuinta.com, he gets a ready-for-you alert the second his room is ready. So you know what he gives?
I'll give you everything I've got and then some.
He gives 110%.
I'm confident this 10% can boost your market share. Feel me, Lois?
I'm feeling it.
Ready-for-you alert only at LQ.com.
Hey,
Hi.
you're that guy from Verizon who switched to Sprint.
I used to ask if you could hear me now, but it's 2016 and Sprint's network reliability is now within 1% of Verizon. And Sprint saves you 50% on most Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile rates. That's why millions have switched.
Make that millions plus one.
Can you hear that?
Don't let a 1% difference cost you twice as much. Switch to Sprint today.
6-2 Seattle going to the top of the 6th. Trade deadline tomorrow. Trade deadline special tomorrow. BBTN trade deadline special 1:30 to 4:30 Eastern time right here on ESPN. For more, who else? Buster Olney.
There's about 18 more hours until the trade deadline. The teams in most need of a deal, the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are looking for starting pitching, corner outfield help. The Texas Rangers, because of injuries to pitchers like Derek Holland, they're out in the market, perhaps also looking at Jonathan Lucroy. And how about the Toronto Blue Jays, looking to add a starting pitcher, in part because Aaron Sanchez, the terrific right-hander, is bumping up against the innings limits. Could be that the Blue Jays are going to add a starter and then move Sanchez into the bullpen, Dan.
Aaron Sanchez, 7 innings today, gave up 2 runs, a game the Blue Jays lost to the Orioles in extra innings. He leads the American League in ERA. If we were to have an American League Cy Young Award conversation, he would be in the conversation, maybe not the front runner, but in the conversation. Yet, because he is so young and the ceiling is so high, they're worried about how many innings he's thrown. This has become fairly commonplace, of course, in recent years. He was a reliever for a lot of last year, also was on the DL. He's already thrown more innings now than he's ever thrown in a professional season. Will they move him to the bullpen? This is the first, second, third, and fourth conversation about the Blue Jays every day in Toronto. And as Buster says, if they move him to the bullpen, you got to believe that they're going to try to get a starter by tomorrow. It's, you know, 20, 30 years ago, we never thought about this kind of thing. But in this era, you know, the Strasburgs and the Harveys and the Sanchez's, this is now an annual occurrence.
He's absolutely in the Cy Young question or running. I think the thing that softens it a little bit maybe for the Blue Jays and makes it, you know, as you're chasing another playoff berth and another division title, is you know how good he can be at the back end of a bullpen too. So you're not entirely losing him.
They just picked up Joaquin Benoit from Seattle a couple of days ago. They've also picked up Jason Grilli, so they've kind of buffed up the bullpen that way. But there are certain teams, you knew Baltimore was going to get a starter, had to go get a starter. They got Wade Miley today. You got to believe the Dodgers are going to do something. Blue Jays maybe. Texas, you got to believe with the injuries they've had, as Buster said, that they're going to get a starter.
I'd be shocked if Boston doesn't make a huge move between now and tomorrow.
4 p.m. Eastern time, trade deadline.
You're talking about the Dodgers. They have been talking to so many different teams about so many different things. Corner outfielder, they've had conversations with the Reds about Jay Bruce, and the Oakland Athletics about Josh Reddick, who generally speaking is perceived to be the best available outfielder right now.
2-2 the count on Dae-Ho Lee. What about Tampa Bay, Buster? Not necessarily Archer, but also Moore and Odorizzi. Any of those guys going to go anywhere, you think?
Well, and they have heard so much from teams about all their starting pitching. So many of them actually have great team-friendly contracts. There's some conversation that maybe the Cubs, because they need to have controllable pitchers for those years after John Lackey leaves, after Jake Arrieta perhaps leaves, that they could pluck one of the Tampa Bay Rays pitchers sometime between now and 4 o'clock tomorrow.
They got 5 pretty good starters right now.
Really good starters.
But, you know, strong, always try to get stronger. I wonder if St. Louis will make another move in the bullpen. They picked up Zach Duke. Will they go after maybe a right-handed reliever towards the back end of that bullpen? Sung Hwan Oh is the closer right now. Tricky play because of the bullpen situation down the line here. And Anthony Rizzo's obviously very familiar with it, but that's an awfully tough play.
Well, I think he thought it was further than it was, and he really just got on his horse thinking, I'm going to need to make a great over-the-shoulder catch. Well, he ends up overrunning it and just kind of losing track of where he is, where the ball is. And it falls foul. Where'd that thing go? Oh, man.
So a full count on Lee, who's walked and homered, and takes ball 4. Will the trades made now pay off in October? Join MLB Network for all the news, deals, and a buzz. The 2016 MLB trade deadline coverage continues down to the wire through Monday on MLB Network. The San Francisco Giants are a very interesting team, and what they may do, they've gotten Hunter Pence back. He's played the last couple of days, but might they still look for another outfielder? Will they look for somebody in the bullpen?
Bullpen, Dan. They have been all over the bullpen market, and they are like the people or person left standing in a game of musical chairs. Closers have come off the board. They didn't get one.
Right. Maybe don't have quite the system, don't have quite the prospects.
Especially with some of the other teams we're talking about, the Texas and Dodgers and the Cubs, and all these teams have had some pretty good depth from which to make trades. That's not necessarily the case with the Giants.
Mike Zunino is the batter. Meanwhile, the guy on the mound for the Cubs wasn't a trade acquisition, a guy they signed. They waited for him to get healthy. And here's Joe Nathan, 41 years of age, 377 career saves for a guy who's been with the Giants, the Twins, the Rangers, last year the Tigers, or 2 years ago the Tigers rather. As this ball's lined into left field, that's a base hit for Zunino. Coming around to third on the play is Lee. Throw into second, and in there standing up is Zunino. The throw gets away, but not far enough for Lee to risk it. So second and third with nobody out.
Well, this is one of the good stories here for the Cubs of late. Joe Nathan, as you've highlighted, such a great career as a major league closer, and at 41 years of age, having another injury, but you think he likes to pitch, you think he likes to compete. Made plenty of money in his career, has received plenty of accolades and great personal accomplishments, played on so many great teams, especially with think of the Minnesota Twins, where he was a great closer for them, but still fighting his way back to the big leagues.
And Nathan, frustrated with his inability to get outs, as Joe Maddon's come out and he's made the move. He wants the left-hander Travis Wood after Seth Smith had been announced as the pinch hitter.
Can a toothpaste do everything well?
This clean was like, pow.
It added this other level of clean to it.
It just kind of like wiped everything clean.
6 times cleaning.
My teeth are glowing. They are so white.
6 times whitening.
I actually really like the 2 steps.
Step 1 cleans, step 2 whitens.
Every time I used this together, it felt like leaving the dentist office.
Crest HD, 6 times cleaning, 6 times whitening.
I would switch to Crest HD over what I was using before.
Kugel's Grapefruit Shandy is a perfect balance of German-style Weiss beer and natural grapefruit flavor. Because out here, refreshment is our natural resource. Kugel's, welcome to the Liney side.
La charrue passe dans le ciel et je descends lentement.
Perhaps it is time we acquire a larger dwelling.
But the mortgage process has proven to be challenging.
Not with Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. It is the easiest and most logical way to secure financing for your living quarters online. You can securely share your financial information with the push of a button.
It appears now is a sensible time to relocate.
I am so happy.
No need to get emotional.
See Star Trek Beyond in theaters.
Americans are buying more and more of everything online, and so many businesses rely on the United States Postal Service to get it there. That's why we make more e-commerce deliveries to homes than anyone else in the country. The United States Postal Service. Priority, you.
Who are these people? Doesn't matter. Oh, this does, though.
I spoke privately with the doctor. The shoulder is going to be fine.
I spoke privately with his doctor.
Every Sunday on Baseball Tonight, ESPN and Major League Baseball feature a local Little League program as part of our Sunday night coverage. Tonight we welcome Archer Manor Little League. They play in the heart of Chicago's southwest side, and they've been a proud member of the Little League community since 1952. 2 Little League state championships at the junior division level. Welcome. New pitcher Travis Wood, and the batter is Seth Smith. So a lefty on lefty matchup is what Joe Maddon was looking for here.
Well, Wood, who's been such a valuable member of now the bullpen, was a starter for the Cubs when he first got here, his first couple of seasons, but serves many roles for Joe Maddon. Gets lefties out, but also the ability to get righties. Fastball, cut fastball, slider. Seth Smith, who one of those platoon players we talk about, 0 for 6 in his career against Wood, hitting under 200 against lefties, but does wear out right-handed pitching. One of those guys that provided a lot of power in a platoon situation for the Mariners this season.
Now, whenever I talk to you about Seth Smith, there's a handful of guys around baseball, and you always describe them as a
professional hitter.
A professional hitter. It's one of your favorite phrases. It's one of your favorite arable phrases. What do you mean when you describe Seth Smith as a professional hitter?
I just think someone that you know exactly what you're going to get. He's been rock solid. Platoon player, yes, so he's not been a guy that's been able to play every day or really handle left-handed pitching, but year in and year out, you know a guy that's going to provide some power, give you quality at bats against right-handed pitching, and provide 1/2 or 2/3 as a left-handed hitter of what is usually an outstanding platoon and an absolute asset for a club.
2-2 the count. Second and third, nobody out. Got a piece. Who else is in your this club of professional hitters?
Oh, I don't know. You like it more than I
do like it. Well, I know a guy you always used to describe as a professional hitter, and he's a different kind of hitter than Seth Smith, but you always had Matt Stairs in the he's a professional hitter.
Well, that's because I say it professional.
Are you calling him out right now? Are you just totally calling him out?
No, I like this. We've had this conversation many times.
Matt Stairs is he was famously called professional hitter.
Right.
Matt Stairs.
Is that how he talks too?
That's how he talks.
That's how.
I'm just trying to get this
professional hitter.
Kendrys Morales, right?
Sure.
You liked him as a professional
student. He's a student of the game.
Were you a professional hitter? No.
It was a quick no.
Right.
By definition only.
You know what? I think I've gotten about as much. I've exhausted this topic. I'm completely satisfied now.
Yeah.
Corey Seager's a professional hitter, guys.
Look at any time that we can mention the Seager Olney family now, that's gonna.
And by Seager Olney family, you mean only Seager family? 2-2 the count on Smith. Scott Servais talking to us before the game about the identity of the team and wanted to get back to his players controlling the strike zone. And Seth Smith is that kind of guy.
Yeah, and Scott Servais was talking about, every team tends to have an identity, especially some of the really good teams. And he just really has made it a point. We are going to control the strike zone, understand the strike zone. And that he put that is it doesn't mean we're mean we're going to necessarily draw a lot of walks, or every player is going to be a guy that walks, but understand that we're trying to work to a good hitters count. And he feels like the more good hitters counts you can get in, and you do that by grinding, by understanding the strike zone, the more opportunities at impact at bats and or power at bats, which with this team has absolutely rung true with all their home runs they've hit this year as a team.
He's worked the count full against Wood. And draws the walk to load the bases. So Nathan gives up a walk and a double. Wood walks his first batter. And now the bases are loaded with nobody out for leadoff man Sean O'Malley, who's 1 for 3. Again, Ketel Marte, the regular shortstop for the Mariners, on the DL with a mononucleosis. They hope to have him back in about a week's time. Although there's always an element of uncertainty around mono and how quickly you come back from the symptoms
and how weak it makes you. I think he's already lost 8 pounds, and that's the biggest thing, is you might be back able to swing a bat and play, but you're also weaker than you were prior to it. And it's a disease that never leaves you. It stays with you your whole life, so it's something that you don't just brush off. It's gone, move on.
O'Malley, originally a 5th round pick of the Tampa Bay Rays in 2006. As we mentioned, did not make his major league debut until 2014 when he debuted as a member of the Angels. Got 42 at bats with the Mariners last year, and now up in the big leagues again with them this year. From Richland, Washington.
You know, you saw Wood get a little bit frustrated by losing Seth Smith there. He felt like it was a good matchup for him. He got ahead in the count, ultimately losing him. But a good job in this at bat of getting ahead with a first pitch curveball, a pitch he doesn't use a lot, but knowing, hey, O'Malley may be taking a pitch, or if he is aggressive, it's going to be on something fast. He steals a strike and goes cutter, and they're perfectly executed as he starts that pitch on the inside part of the plate and just keeps boring it in, down it in, and O'Malley swings over the top, and a big strikeout pitch for Wood as he tries to minimize damage and keep the Cubs in this game. With now King Felix out of this game, they've chipped away at that lead. But you really got to make a couple big pitches here to not allow Seattle to run up that score again here.
Leonis Martin, the batter. A sacrifice, a base hit, and a strikeout tonight for the former Texas Ranger, the Mariners center fielder. Another guy hitting for power. 13 home runs on the season. That's a career high for Martin. Blocked by Contreras. Not too many teams carrying 3 catchers, but in part it's the versatility of guys like Baez, who we haven't mentioned tonight, Javier Baez, Kris Bryant, Ben Zobrist. Because you got so many versatile guys, you don't need as much of
Wilson,
a bench.
Contreras,
right, can play left field as well. So
played a little first base this weekend.
And what a luxury, and ultimately what a strength for the Chicago Cubs, because they can legitimately play so many guys at different spots defensively and guys that can handle it. Just so many moving parts, and it allows Joe Madden and the Cubs to, on a nightly basis, really exploit different matchups. Because they have so many moving parts, they can match up maybe what lines up best defensively behind one of their pitchers, or maybe a matchup that they like from one of their hitters against the opposing pitcher.
do you think in October or by October it's in their best interest to settle on this guy's my second baseman, this guy's my left fielder, or is this an advantage they can roll right through the playoffs with?
Well, to Boone's point too, I think part of why they like that flexibility is the fact that guys are going to go through slumps and be able to kind of ride those waves by moving around. So Ben Zobrist, who was every day second base, looked like early in the season as he struggled a few weeks ago, they were able to put in Javier Baez and move guys around. But I do think it's nice to have a position that you know when you head into playoffs that you're comfortable with.
Strike 3 call. Back-to-back strikeouts for Wood.
I still think when it comes to October, I still think because of the depth and because of the versatility on this Cubs roster that you're playing matchups and you're playing hot hands. And I think enough guys on this team have demonstrated the ability to play at a high level that's what it'll come down to come October.
Bases remain loaded. 2 outs now, and the batter is Robinson Cano, who has sandwiched a home run between a couple of strikeouts tonight. The home run is 23rd of the season. As you can see, he's got 10 career grand slams. 3rd year with Seattle, 3rd year of a 10-year contract, but now by the age of 33, looking every bit as good as he did in his prime years with the New York Yankees.
He's so smooth. I mean, you even just watch that last take. I mean, the way that he's able to just sit and even his home run tonight, it was like the last second he decides, all right, I'm going to swing. And there's such a smooth quietness to Robinson Cano. Like, even though he's explosive and strong, a lot of times you see a guy's max effort swing. They're doing everything with their lower half, their body to get into a swing. Robinson Cano, it's such a quietness about him, but yet a strength. I mean, he is so strong. But it doesn't even look like he's trying half the time.
Fouls it off to the left, 1-2. He's played in more games than anybody in baseball the last 10 years. On their feet at Wrigley, trying to help Travis Wood get out of what was a bases loaded, nobody out mess. He struck out O'Malley. He struck out Martin. 1-2 on Cano. Popped him up, shallow left, Russell there. Wood gets out of it. The Mariners leave him loaded. Cubs coming up down 6-2. Jess Mendoza talks hitting with Kris Bryant when we come back.
Yeah, I like this right here.
The Ford Freedom Sales Event is on, and 0 for 72 is back on 2016 Ford Focus, Fusion, and Escape. Plus, specially tagged vehicles get an extra 1,000 smart bonus. That means freedom from interest and freedom to choose with Ford, America's best-selling brand. Now get 0% financing for 72 months. Plus, specially tagged vehicles get 1,000 smart bonus. Only at the Ford Freedom Sales Event.
This is the Dell Inspiron 2-in-1. It has 4 versatile modes and a 6th-gen Intel Core processor for getting more done. Like rocking marine biology term papers or making the baddest beats on campus. Inspired by you, multitasking double major. We love your work.
Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy is the perfect balance of German-style Weiss beer and natural lemonade flavor. Crafted from 6 generations of family brewing tradition to make summer a little more refreshing. Leinenkugel's, welcome to the Liney side.
Back at Wrigley, where they're having some fun tonight here in Chicago. The Cubs coming up at the bottom of the 6th, trailing 6-2. Before the game today, Jess Mendoza went one-on-one with Kris Bryant.
Kris, your dad Mike was your hitting coach from a young age. He was highly influenced by Ted Williams, both as a player and as a coach. What are probably the biggest takeaways from what your dad has taught you?
Yeah, well, for me,
the biggest thing was hit the ball in the air, and he kind of taught me that ever since I can remember. It was always hit the ball in the air. One of our things, I wanted to hit a home run when I was super young. I hit it, my first one when I was 8, and you know, too often back then, Little League, it was always hit the ball on the ground. They're not going to make the play because, you know, when you're younger, your skills aren't where they're going to be when you're older. So all the coaches would get on first base, and that's kind of just what they wanted you to do. But for me, I've always wanted to hit the ball in the air, and I think that's kind of something that got me to where I am today.
Take me through your BP, like you're on the tee, you got like pregame, and something that you might think about, like, all right, I'm trying to hit the ball in the air, like what would your setup be like to kind of get your swing down?
Well, for me, it's, for me to hit the ball in the air, I try to, you want to be in the zone as long as possible, so get your bat in the zone back here because, you know, I think that helps you hit pitchers that are throwing 100 and being able to stay on that off-speed pitch that's 82 because you could hit that. Just try to stay in the zone as long as possible. You know, so for me, when I'm on the mound, the pitcher, he's throwing on a downhill angle. So in order to square that up and hit in the air, you kind of have to have a little bit of an uppercut.
Yeah.
So for me, it's look at the bottom part of the ball, swing up a little bit to hit the ball in the air because, you know, just playing with the angles and, you know, 6'5" pitcher is going to have an even more of an angle coming down. If he's throwing a 12-6 curveball, it's going to be even more. So you have to swing up to hit that ball flush.
And kudos to Mike Bryant for kind of going a little bit against the grain of what young hitters. We talked about 8 years old trying to hit under the ball. And he's a 16 player with more than 25 home runs in each of his first 2 seasons. But that's something that you think about his build and his body, and what a lot of hitters naturally do anyway is get under the ball. They're just taught at a young age, and they think I'm hitting the top half or I'm hitting a line drive that's leading to a home run. But going against the grain at a young age, and it's paid off.
I love it. Against the grain, but it's squashing a false narrative that you somehow want to get on top of the ball and hit the ball on the ground. It is nonsense.
Well, whatever he's doing it well.
He is. I had a great hitting coach when I was with the Reds, Tom Robson, who would show me, for the first time, showed me information that when you hit the ball on the ground, you're an out. He'd show me in Ichiro's great seasons. Yeah, he's a 270 hitter when he hits it on the ground. When he hits it in the air, he's a 404. You know, those kind of numbers that are so skewed for everyone. And now a big measurement for organizations, front office, in evaluating players, especially players as they get older. Sometimes when they start to see those skills go, it'll manifest itself in his ground balls are starting to rise. He's having a hard time getting the ball in the air.
And because of that, you are going to strike out more, and we've seen the game evolve to where that's okay as long as the home runs are there. And I liked what he said about getting his barrel back in the zone early too, because that's something we're seeing so much more as hitters like a Kris Bryant able to adjust the 82, not just to the 100. But that variance is more every day now, not just with starting pitchers, but with relief pitchers and with closers. And his swing, it's not just about getting under it, but it's about getting that bat path early enough to where he's able to create the leverage. And that's where you see him there, not just getting under it. He doesn't dip just down in the zone and get steep to it, but he's in below the ball for a long time, able to adjust to a variety of pitches.
Chris Coughlin, the batter, the count 1-2. Wilson Contreras grounded out for the first out of the inning. New pitcher for the Mariners is right-hander Drew Storen, just picked up in the last week or so in a deal with Toronto. Joaquin Benoit going the other way. The Blue Jays had designated Storen for assignment and then traded him for Benoit. The Blue Jays sending some money Seattle's way to even it up a little bit.
This is an interesting pickup, Dan. I mean, this time last year, Drew Storen was one of the best closers in the National League. And then remember the trade for Jonathan Papelbon. Storen lost his closer job, not by default, but just by the Nationals trying to bolster their pen. He really melted down and struggled in that role. Went to Toronto. It got away from him this year. I think the Mariners just hoping maybe a change of scenery, maybe getting their guys with them that can kind of refine that form that made him a premier back end of the bullpen pitcher.
He went into spring training this year And the Blue Jays said it's between Storen and Roberto Osuna for the closer's job. It was not Osuna's job going into the spring. Both had good springs, but Osuna got the job. Storen was supposed to be the setup man. So kind of different circumstances, but the same result. He wasn't the closer. And for the most part in Toronto, never got on track. The velocity's down a couple of miles per hour, but he was hit often and hard in Toronto. So the Mariners hoping a change of scenery might help him as Coghlan grounds out 2 down. Follow live baseball with the MLB.com at Bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Travis Wood's going to hit. 2 outs, bases empty. They're down 4, but there are only 3 more men on the bench, and Wood is one of the best hitting pitchers in baseball.
I don't know if he can. Madison Bumgarner pinch hit. Saw today with the Giants come in.
9 bombs, 278 at bats. Pretty impressive right there.
You see Wood come off the bench as a pinch hitter. I don't know. might see more pitchers do that though. Bruce Bochy setting a standard over there in San Francisco. Buster was getting the pitchers going with the home run derby.
And the commissioner sort of semi-endorsed it.
Fly ball left field. And Gutierrez circles around it to make the catch and end the inning. 3 up, 3 down go the Cubs. End of 6. Mariners lead 6-2.
Steak used to cost an arm and a leg. But now you can get new tender braised steak and melted cheese wrapped in a warm flatbread for just $1.49. Taco Bell steak flatbread sandwich. Eat it for them.
When Josh Atkins books at LaQuinta.com, he gets a ready-for-you alert the second his room is ready. So you know what he gives?
I'll give you everything I've got, and then some.
He gives 110%.
I'm confident this 10% can boost your market share. Feel me, Lois?
I'm feeling it.
Ready-for-you alert only at LQ.com.
My experience with USAA is awesome. Homeowners insurance, life insurance, automobile insurance. I spent 20 years active duty. They still refer to me as gunnery sergeant when I call. Being a USAA member because of my service in the military, to pass that on to my kids, something that makes me happy. My name is Roger Zapata and I'm a USAA member for life.
USAA. We know what it means to serve. Get an insurance quote and see why 92% of our members plan to stay for life.
Americans are buying more and more of everything online. And so many businesses rely on the United States Postal Service to get it there. Because when you ship with us, your business becomes our business. That's why we make more e-commerce deliveries to homes than anyone else in the country. The United States Postal Service. Priority, you.
In our quest to reach our greatest heights, we require focus, resolve, and the ability to grip the moment. For it is in these moments that we define ourselves by our determination to never let go. Falcon Tires, the official tire of Major League Baseball.
Welcome back to Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by Taco Bell. Mariners lead the Cubs 6-2 going to the top of the 7th. And here's something you don't see every day. Travis Wood is still in the game, but he's in left field. He played a little bit in left field in an extra inning game earlier this year. He's out in left field now. Coghlan's out of the game. Pedro Strop is on the mound. Joe Madden, who's always an outside the box kind of guy, with Kyle Seager due up second. So Strop's going to face Cruz. Then I don't know, maybe Wood comes back in from left field, back on the mound, and faces Seager.
Well, we talk about the versatility of the position players and all the different athleticism positions they can play. Well, it spills over into their pitching staff too, as Travis Wood can not only hit, but apparently can play the outfield.
We're going to see.
And the fly ball to right field off the bat of Cruz. Well, Wood's not coming in.
Well, Pedro Strop has been a very valuable member of the back end of the bullpen, and with the addition of Aroldis Chapman, now that bumps Hector Rondon to more of an 8th inning role, and Pedro Strop, who was more of that 8th inning, 7th inning guy, more of that 6th, 7th inning, but just adding to the depth of what is now a pretty strong bullpen for the Cubs.
So why is Matt Caesar not in left field? Is he just saving all of his bench players for what he hopes are RBI opportunities in the next 3 innings?
Absolutely. You got Caesar and Baez and your backup catcher now with Ross. So
how excited is Travis Wood to be out in left field? I mean, he's popping his glove. He's like yelling stuff.
As Aaron mentioned, Ross, Baez, Caesar still on the bench. There's a ball ripped into center field. A base hit for Seager.
All that power shagging that pitchers do
BP.
each and every day.
It's preparing you
pays
for this
off
moment.
if you're a Cubby. Joe Madden's always watching. Travis Wood can run down a fly ball.
So Hamels pinch hit.
Yep.
Wood has hit for himself, which you don't see a reliever do that often. Then he's moved to left field. Today, Bumgarner pinch hit for Kane, I believe it was, and then Samardzija ran for Bumgarner.
Yeah.
Safe to say, I think
pitchers
the
are
starting rotation is for the Cubs has their spikes on.
I don't know if Wood's going to have a play on this one. It is caught. He races back to the ivy and made the catch.
Wow. He tried to not smile there for a second.
I thought I was looking down at Joe Madden and looked like he was real stoic, like, I knew that was going to happen. Finally, he breaks the smile. This is awesome.
He gets a good jump on it, but this looked like it was either out or off the ivy. This is not an easy play for anyone, even a regular left fielder, to make, knowing where he's at on the field, up against the ivy, makes the catch.
And that's a brick wall behind that ivy. Might leave a mark.
That's a pitcher.
Look at this standing ovation he's getting, not just from his teammates, from everybody here. I don't know what else is in contention for web gems today, but we know what number 1 is.
Bowing down.
That was something. You know that phrase that they've been saying about baseball for over 100 years? You know, you never know what you're going to see when you come to the ballpark.
That's right.
Boy, is he going to get some slaps on the back and some high fives when he gets back into the dugout.
Joe Madden. Just the confidence he has, every single one of his players.
Might have been a little frightened too, with the pitcher going back to the wall.
Well, throw Wood into that left field mix, you know, for the rest of the season. Add to the versatility.
That's right. Arrieta, get your shin guards on.
Lee has walked twice and homered. You definitely feel on the Cub team, though, that there's a buy-in, even when they're asked to do something that is not typical. And that's just one of the ways in which Joe Madden is so good at convincing everybody to get on board with whatever needs to be done.
Well, I think that's where you get the Matt Caesars and the Javi Baez's. They're on the bench, and normally you got a pitcher starting in a position you could be coming into the game, but there is a buy-in and a support, and they're the first guys up yelling, congratulating, excited. A lot of times you get egos involved. You get the, why am I not in? Why is a pitcher getting an opportunity over me?
And strike 3 called to end the inning. This is one you'll be seeing for a while. Travis Wood, the pitcher in left field, racing it back, crashing into the ivy and the brick wall behind it to make a terrific catch. Quite a moment here at Wrigley.
This is my garage. These are my tools. This is my jam. That's my baby. This is my moment. And this is my victory lap. Advance Auto Parts.
Shop smart with a Sam's Club membership. Get incredible savings at Sam's Club lowest prices of the season event August 6th. Members mark 450 thread count sheets, queen set just $24.98. A Samsung 65-inch curved smart TV and soundbar bundle just $13.98. Or get a Samsung Galaxy S7 smartphone and receive a $200 gift card with zero down activation. Join and save during this one-day-only event. Sam's Club. Life is better in the club.
Superman ripped off the roof of the White House and grabbed the president right out of the Oval Office. Who would have stopped him?
The bad guys.
Kicking in the door for the Suicide Squad.
The hell's wrong with you?
We're bad guys. It's what we do.
Suicide Squad, rated PG-13. Experience it in IMAX, August 5th.
For my wrongs, I have just begun.
The days of cord hassles are numbered. Dyson's cord-free format transforms cleaning on carpets and hard floors. With a light, powerful digital motor, it adapts easily to clean here, pretty much anywhere, without the hassle of a cord.
Three home runs for the Mariners tonight. And one of the more unusual outfield catches that you will see this year, with Travis Wood, the pitcher, making a great catch, crashing into the brick wall. On the scoreboard, it remains 6-2 Mariners as the Cubs come up here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Top of the order, Fowler, Bryant, and Rizzo facing Tom Wilhelmsen, who was with Seattle, was traded to Texas in November. Leonis Martin coming to the Mariners. Did not have a good go of it in Texas, declined an outright assignment, and was granted free agency in June, and 6 days later re-signed with Seattle.
Well, like Drew Storen, this is a guy that's been a closer in his past, a closer for this Seattle Mariner team. So the Mariners hoping a change of scenery and hoping to get him comfortable. And with Storen and possibly Wilhelmsen, they feel like maybe two reclamation projects to a degree that if they can help them regain their form, really give them some interesting pieces and elements to eventually move into the back half of the bullpen.
2-2 to Fowler. Off the glove of Zunino, a little bit low. It's a full count. Ball 4 outside. Let's go down to Buster.
Hey guys, when Travis Wood came back in from the outfield, he's getting high fives from all of his teammates, and they're all excited for him after this amazing catch going against the wall. Now, one of the players who greeted him at the top of the dugout was David Ross, and what he said to him in that moment was, "Hey, hit the cutoff man." And Wood had a quick two-word retort that we cannot repeat here.
Grandpa Ross.
There's Bryant. Bryant, who's hit 1 home run in his last 21 games, does have 26 on the season, tied for second in the National League. Got a ring play today. And you got to put him in the MVP conversation. We mentioned Anthony Rizzo's got to be in there. I think Daniel Murphy, the year he's having in Washington. But Bryant's production, his defensive versatility, playing multiple positions. Trying to become one of the few guys to win a Rookie of the Year one year and MVP the next year. Twice it's been done by guys who have won both in their rookie year. You mentioned one of them, Ichiro, doing it for the Mariners in 2001. Fred Lynn did it for the
75.
Boston Red Sox in '75. Up and away.
I'd like to wish that guy happy birthday.
I think he's 10.
Two and two. $40,952 in attendance here at Wrigley tonight. Cubs staying home to open up a series with the Miami Marlins tomorrow night. Marlins coming off a win over St. Louis today. And Andrew Cashner's Marlins debut. Pitched well, was not involved in the decision. Full count now on Bryant. Anthony Rizzo waiting on deck. A lot of room on the right side with Cano playing up the middle and the runner being held on at first. Runner is going. 3-2. Swung on and missed. Throw down. Safe as Cano tried to swipe him on the way by but couldn't do it. Credit Fowler with a stolen base.
Yeah, good job by Fowler here. Obviously running on 3-2 to try and stay out of the double play and trusting that maybe Bryant can put it in play. Wilhelmsen a little slow to the plate. Fowler doesn't just take it for granted that he's going to put it in play. Make sure he gets a decent jump. And almost a great play there by Cano of catching him on the back. Little swipe tag came real close to making a nice play, but
so Fowler with his 7th stolen base of the season. A runner at second with a 1 out for Rizzo. 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts tonight. All of that against Felix Hernandez, who went 5 innings, gave up just 2 hits, 2 runs, walked 5, struck out 8. Cubs have already left 7 men on tonight.
And that's the part of the plate we've seen Seattle be able to get in on first with Felix. You got a strikeout, and look at the home runs that Rizzo has this season. The location of those pitches. When you look at where Anthony Rizzo gets in the batter's box, those pitches are more almost middle in for him because he's so close to the plate. A lot of pitchers have a tough time of getting into that inner half and not hitting them. Over 40 hit by pitches this season.
Two and 1 the count on Rizzo.
What he does ultimately by getting on the plate is he puts a lot of pressure on that pitcher to make a perfect pitch. And in a way, he's saying, all right, if you can dot 3 pitches on the inside corner or real close to the corner, you're probably going to beat me and I'm going to tip my cap. But I trust that you can't do it consistently, and eventually you're going to make a mistake, which turns into a power location when you get on the middle.
High and deep, right center field. Martin has room on the warning track to make the catch. 2 down as Fowler tags and it comes to third.
Well, he got that mistake. They wanted to go in there, Jess, and he left it on the plate. Rizzo gets it, I think, just a little bit off the end of the bat. You see Zunino set up in, and that ball just kind of drifts. Wilhelmsen thinks he got it right away, but that it's a changeup. There's good tail on it. I think just enough off the end of the bat, or maybe his contact point was just a little bit too far out in front. See him a little, the off speed affected him a little bit to not quite get that click. It allows that ball to stay in the ballpark in deep center field.
So the Cubs now 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position tonight. 6 strikeouts. That fly ball by Rizzo, the first time they've even made contact with a runner in scoring position in this game tonight. Now there was a bases loaded walk. There was a bases loaded hit by pitch. But in terms of official at bats, 0 for 7 tonight. The batter, Ben Zobrist. At the knees, 2-1. Pop back out of play, 2-2. Activity in the Mariners' pen. Left-hander Vidal Nuno and the right-hander Edwin Diaz, who has been sensational in a setup role for Seattle this year. 98 to 100 miles an hour. Three-2. Zobrist fights it off.
Scott Service talked to us about controlling the strike zone for his Mariners team and him wanting them to be known more for that. If you think about the poster child, or one of them, for controlling the strike zone for the Cubs, it's Ben Zobrist, and he's doing it right here in this at bat.
And he lines one into right center, a base hit. It's going to get past Martin and all the way to the wall. Zobrist on his way to third, and in there with an RBI triple.
Ben Zobrist works this count. He's looking for a fastball that he can get up in the zone. He had fouled off pitches prior to, took enough to get this full count, and Martin, it's the route that he takes to get to this ball. He tries to cut it off and instead doesn't understand the velocity that this ball has in the gap. Instead of taking a deeper route, he goes straight to it. That's why it gets by him. Allows Zobrist to get all the way around to third for the triple.
And the Cubs creep a little bit closer now, 6-3. The batter is Addison Russell. 0 for 2 and hit by a pitch with the bases loaded last time up. And here's Scott Service on his way out to the mound. And he wants Diaz. Diaz and Russell in an ever tightening game when we come back to Wrigley.
Huh. 7 ingredients for better gas mileage. Wonder what they are.
Corrosion inhibitor.
Solvent fluid.
Demulsifier.
Fuel detergent number 1.
Fuel detergent number 2.
Anti-adhesion compound.
And marker molecules.
Wow. I did not know that.
With 7 key ingredients, new Synergy gasoline is engineered to help give you better gas mileage. Exxon and Mobil. Energy lives here.
Gain the freedom to fumble with the new water and shatter-resistant Samsung Galaxy S7 Active. Buy one now and get the Samsung Gear S2 for free, exclusively at AT&T.
Happy anniversary dinner, darling. Can this much love be cleaned by a little bit of Dawn Ultra? Oh, yeah. One bottle has the grease cleaning power of 2 bottles of this bargain brand. A drop of Dawn and grease is gone.
Hanes underwear with revolutionary X-Temp technology is designed to respond to your body temperature to help keep you cool. Let's put it to the test.
Yep.
Oh. Just gonna play it.
Wedge?
Yep. Next!
It speeds evaporation to help keep you cool and dry. Hanes X-Temp technology. Because when you're cool, you're comfortable.
I think you got this.
Right.
Joe Flacco. Choco Taco. Wow. Unbelievable. It's a chocolate taco. You ever had one?
Well, Wrigleyville, the area surrounding Wrigley Field where they know how to have fun. Here on the north side of Chicago, built right into this residential neighborhood. Ballpark over a century old. It's jumping tonight. Cubs are getting closer. They're down 6-3 right now. Ben Zobrist just tripled in a run. He's at third with 2 down. Addison Russell, the batter, and here's Edwin Diaz. Rookie made his major league debut back in early June. At one point was a starter. They have converted him to a reliever, and he has had outstanding results in what has grown into a setup role for Seattle. A lot of velocity for this young man. Of his last 48 outs, guys, 35 of them have been strikeouts.
Whew.
And it's quickly 0-2.
Overall, 46 strikeouts, just 7 walks in 23 innings.
And he makes quick work of Russell. Inning over. Cubs get a run, but that's it. 6-3 Seattle.
Taco Bell's new $5 triple double crunch wrap box has no sides, but it does come with a Doritos Locos Taco, a Crunchy Taco, and a Baja Blast. The all-new $5 box. All mains, no sides. Only at Taco Bell.
Your insurance company won't replace the full value of your totaled new car. The guy says, you picked the wrong insurance plan. No, I picked the wrong insurance company.
With new car replacement, we'll replace the full value of your car, plus depreciation. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Welcome to the Apartments.com pre-search facility.
I just found a 2-bedroom, 2-bath right in Uptown.
Nice.
Great.
Bingo. Our pre-searchers are working so hard to find you an apartment before you even need one. Hello, doctor. Then there are pre-searchers. They're finding buildings before they've even been built yet. Those are such great kids. Really. Then there are pre-searchers. Look at this. Those are just babies. That's our nursery, really. Change your apartment. Change the world.
Can a car be crafted instead of produced? Designed with attention and care to give a feeling that stays with you. At Mazda, every detail matters because driving matters. The all-new 3-row Mazda CX-9.
Because we're all fans, and this is what we do. Get your favorite gear, anything and everything at MLBshop.com.
Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN is presented by Taco Bell's new limited edition Triple Double Crunch Wrap. And in part by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Liberty stands with you. And Otesla. Learn more at Otesla.com. To the top of the 8th here at Wrigley in front of a crowd of almost 41,000. The Mariners lead the Cubs 6-3. Mike Zunino will lead it off. Pedro Strop back on the mound for the Cubs. Zunino tonight 1 for 3, doubled his last time up. And let's not lose track of the fact that Travis Wood is still in left field for the Cubs. How can you take him out after the play he made last time? Strop, who will often vary the timing and his delivery, did it there as he misses down and away.
Strop, a hard thrower, typically 95 with a 4 in the 2-seam fastball, but will throw over 50% sliders. We've seen back-to-back ones to Zunino.
That's a fair ball, skips under the glove of Bryant into foul territory down the left field line, where Wood will pick it up in the bullpen where he's used to hanging out. This time gets it back into the infield, but it's a leadoff double for Zunino.
Well, Bryant just short-armed it a little bit. He knew because the ball was not hit hard that he was going to have to get rid of it in a hurry, even though Zunino doesn't run that great. So in his haste to kind of get the ball to his hand, he pulls up a little bit short, and it turns into another double for Zunino.
And now here's Edwin Diaz, the pitcher. This is his first career professional at bat, and he gets the bunt down, throw to third, and out at third is Zunino. Got it down, but Cubs knew it was coming, and Rizzo was right there to make a great throw.
I love this play so much. Look, Rizzo understands that this guy probably hasn't had an at bat, certainly not at the big league level. So he's probably not real adept at handling the bat. So I'm just going to force him to either bunt it, or if he wants to get cute and try and slash, I probably realize he has no experience. So even though I don't have a force play at third, I am going to play this super aggressively. Diaz bunts it right to him. He doesn't rush the play and makes an accurate throw.
So let's go back. Obviously, Scott Service wanted Diaz to pitch the bottom of the 8th inning. So that's why he hits for himself. That's why he doesn't bring up a pinch hit or anything like that. He could have double switched to avoid the situation, but
basically he's telling you he wants Lee defensively in the
right.
game in a 6-3 ball game over
Lynn.
The chance for Adam Lynn to swing the bat.
How often do you see a game where both teams have relievers get at bats? That doesn't happen very often.
No.
Sean O'Malley 1 for 4. They play him in the outfield to hit the ball to the opposite field.